What's up, everybody? This is Luke and Brienne once again with the Noble Photo LLC. I shouldn't say LLC, but whatever. I'm going to say it. The Noble Photo LLC. What does that mean? Licensed Liability Corporation.
Limited liability.
Limited Liability Corporation. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? I like it.
Yeah, he really likes that.
Those
three letters.
Yeah, I thought about taking it off the title, but I think it gives it whatever. That's ridiculous. So today, episode number 2, we are talking about the decisions that brides need to make associated with picking their wedding photographer. Is that right? Did I hit the nail on the head?
Yep, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
This is just one of several that we're going to have in a series.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a bride or a groom to be, we would encourage you to be tuning in over the next few weeks. We're going to have some special guests, so it'll give you guys a break from our faces for a little bit.
Yeah, ugly mugs. And speaking of ugly mugs, check out this mug right here, y'all. Look at this.
No, that's a cute mug.
Yeah. Who gave this to you?
Yeah, that your sister.
My sister.
Yeah.
It says, I turtly love you. That almost sounds like a turd, really, you know?
Well, maybe that's how she feels.
But the bottom line is this: it holds lots of coffee, and we drink lots of coffee. So I mean, like we're gonna, yeah, you know.
But so over the upcoming weeks, we will be discussing different aspects of the wedding planning. We'll have some different vendors, different professionals that are in the wedding industry to come discuss things to know, questions to ask. So it's really just an opportunity for us to educate you on some things to know before getting into this. Because,
Don't fix your microphone. I'm sorry.
Oh, goodness.
I'm terrible.
So, gosh, now I just sound
like
really loud.
It's like all up in your face now.
But
I'll fix it. I got the thing here. Gotcha. Sorry.
Stop interrupting me.
Don't hurt me.
So what we're going to do is just kind of walk you through some things that you may want to ask. You do not
I'm
stop.
just trying to.
If you do not stop. I'm never going to get through this if you don't stop messing with things.
I'm just trying to be a good husband here.
Right. So as you're planning your wedding, you got me all distracted. Like I can't even keep my train of thought.
I'm a terrible person.
So as you're planning your wedding, just things to know. So we're going to start with photography because, we're photographers.
That's what we do. We shoot photography.
So, and just note that, this is, we don't claim to know it all.
We don't.
We know a lot. We've been in the industry a few years now. So if anybody else has some pointers, please feel free to drop them in the comments below.
Yeah, drop your points in the comments below.
There you go.
But don't read them because they could be bad. Don't ever read the comments. People say don't read the comments. Like YouTube. Like watch the videos, but don't read the comments because there's lots of negativity there.
Well,
hopefully not
we're
going to
keep everything upbeat and positive. We're not out here to call anyone out. We are only here to provide some base information to kind of help you choose the right photographer that fits your needs for your special day. And it may not be us. We hope it's us, but it may not be us.
Yeah, it may not be us. It may not be us at all. You might say, hey, those people are idiots. And we are idiots.
Which is probably true.
Yeah, we're big idiots because our kid makes us idiots because we're parents.
No,
And
he's sleeping right now.
Yeah, he probably will not. Isn't that a good thing?
So getting started, you guys are like, where's the info?
Where's the info? Here we go. Let's get this going.
Let's start out with this.
My granddad says, let's get a show on the road.
All right. So we want to start out by saying there are actually 3 different tiers to photography.
3.
And I bet you could probably guess what they are. You're going to have budget photography. You're going to have moderate, somewhere in the middle. And then you're going to have your high end. And I'm going to guess that most of you watching are going to be in the moderate range. We are moderately priced photographers.
Yes.
We are not the cheapest by any means, but
we're fair. We're fair.
We are not the most expensive at all.
Not at all. We don't want to be like that.
And let me tell you this: there is nothing wrong with going budget. There's nothing wrong with going high end. It's all in what you budget for and what you value.
Mm-hmm.
And despite or whichever direction you choose to go, whichever tier you decide to go, the same questions need to be asked. You need to know what type of photographer you're getting. Some people want kind of a documentary style where the photographers are, in the background. You don't really see them. They're there. They're kind of capturing the day as it happens.
Yeah, they're like the people who cloak in a stealth mode.
And then you have people, I guess and I may be using the term wrong, you tell me, more cinematic. They give direction. They help you pose.
I don't know if cinematic's the word.
I'm not sure either. I know that's more of a video term.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know what to call.
So you're talking about the people who basically direct. I guess you could say maybe a wedding planner / photographer.
Nah.
No.
Anyway,
I don't know. I mean, it sounds.
we don't know all the
What
fancy
you were talking about
terms.
sounded great from what I was hearing. I don't know.
But one of the things that we want to state is Luke's a very big personality. If you haven't been able to tell already.
Yeah, I talk with my eyes and not my mouth. That's a lie. Wait, hold on. What do you think I'm saying? I can't do it. I'm a loud mouth. I can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't help it.
So Luke is the kind of person, and I think you see the dynamic with us. He is the kind of person that will keep you laughing, keep you on your toes. He'll pose you, and if you're an awkward person like I am, you need someone kind of saying you need to do this, you need to do that, because
Yeah, but
I'm a dork, and if you tell me just to be natural, I'm gonna do my Sheldon Cooper.
No, it's like when you're talking to a bride. They're like, what do I do with my hands?
If I had,
What do I do?
let me tell you, if I had a dollar for every groomsman that asked me, what do I do with my hands?
You went southern there. I like that. Do it again.
Ricky Bobby.
That was kind of hot. Do it again.
No.
What I do with my hands, man?
But yeah, so sometimes you need some direction. You need people telling you kind of, let's do this, let's do that. But that's not to say that we don't capture the intimate moments where we allow people just to kind of be. So we're kind of a mixture of the two.
Mixture.
And let me tell you, there's some people that need that, and they will tell us, we can be whatever you want us to be, But they're like, no, please tell me what to do.
Well, that was crazy. Is like with all the types of photographers that we're talking about, there's also all types of brides too.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many types of brides.
And brides are different, yeah.
Yeah, you have brides that are, just like, hey, you just come hang out, it's great. And you have the ones that are like, oh, but I want that, But then you have the ones that are like, just a boom, 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 boom.
They know what they want.
And to be honest, I like the one who knows what they want, because that's the best. Because if you know what you want, things happen greatly, and you get it done. You have a shot list, which we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
I'm not taking your lightning and your
Stick to
thunder.
the schedule.
The god of lightning, Thor.
Did you guys guess what kind of bride I was?
Oh yeah, yeah. She stuck to the schedule. It was great. It was scary. You were scary at one moment.
I was.
You said somebody asked you, why are they here for? Like, I'm trying to get my hair done. What's the deal? Go away. You know what the schedule says.
I did not do that. He wasn't even there. He wouldn't know.
1 to 10 being one being out of the box, crazy, psychotic, and one being like like librarian. You're about at a 7.8. You kind of got.
How would you even know you weren't there?
Because I walked through there for one moment. And I saw a little something. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not backtracking.
He's lying,
I'm
guys.
not. Let me drink my turtle.
There are a lot of people there that would tell you different.
Keep me from my turtle.
No. I was a little curious why so many people were calling me.
Yeah, that's why
guys,
you got mad. That's what you were mad about.
You guys know that I've kind of got something big going on today. Stop calling me.
Yeah, stop calling me. Okay, let's get to the list before we
yes,
we've already been recording for 30 minutes. I'm just kidding.
Not.
8 minutes. I'm sorry. I love you.
So understand the kind of photographer you're getting. Do your research. Figure out what kind of photographer you want, how you want those interactions to be. Just know what you're looking for there. When selecting a photographer from any of those tiers, understand the agreements that you're making with them. You should be signing a letter of agreement, a contract, something, which protects you, it protects them. Read through that. Don't just sign it.
And no emotional decisions.
And know that you can make amendments to that. And please, by any means. I mean, we've had brides ask us to amend the contract to include things. We had one bride that didn't want her photos on social media or anything like that. Yeah. Which is fine with us.
We don't care. We want to advertise and to brag about our work because we all do. Yeah. Okay, if you don't, that's crazy. You should. And if they say they don't want it on social media, then that's fine. That's not a problem at all.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, this is a job. We're just here to do a service and do it to the best of our ability, and to get paid and to move along and do the next one and to make friends for life. That was too much information,
Sure,
but I'm
sure.
just going to say it. I'm just going to do it.
So understand what's written in your contract.
Yes. Understand it. Read it. Don't
Yes.
just sign it and go. It's a bad decision.
Know if there's a retainer, like when your deposits are due.
Yeah.
Make sure you know everything that you're getting into, what they provide. Help me out here. What are some of the other things that they need to know in their contract and agreement?
Just your print pricing. Where you're going to get your prints from. Understand how long your digital gallery, if you're getting a digital gallery, is going to last. There's some photographers who say no to a digital gallery, and they say, you're going to come into my studio, I'm going to set you down, and I'm going to become a salesman, and I'm going to sell the crap out of these images to you. And they get you across the table, and they get you excited and things like that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but that's a selling tactic that some people use. We don't use that tactic, and we just don't have the time to do all that. We would love to, but we just don't.
So
understand.
So what he's getting at, he's understand what's included in that price.
Yeah.
Now, we've worked with several different photographers.
Yeah.
Some of them sell prints, and that's great because
there's nothing wrong with selling prints.
Because they may be less expensive on the front end to actually come document the day. They're going to sell.
Noble's crying.
Let me go check on him.
Yeah, go check on him. It's cool.
Back.
I'll keep them entertained. Are you not entertained? I hope you are, because if you're not, it's not good. Noble's fussy downstairs simply because he doesn't want to be up and he doesn't want to be at the house. He's mad because we're terrible parents. There's a bug crawling on Brienne's chair. I don't understand whatsoever. It drives me nuts. It's a ladybug. What's interesting about ladybugs is that ladybugs can be male or female because they reproduce. Like you have a male and you have a female, and it takes a male and a female ladybug to make another ladybug, but yet they call them ladybugs, or they call them it's some other name. I'm sure somebody out there will help us out. Anyways, but it's crazy. It's interesting dynamic. I'm here by myself. You see who runs the show, right? Brienne. Look at that mug. Look at it. Look at it and respect it. Yeah. Not a very good sound at all.
My name is Luke. I am your father. We are here to tell you about photography. My goodness. Hello, you do.
My chair squeaks way too much, and I hate it. I really do. Really hate it. We were talking about the sale of prints and stuff.
Yeah, so just know from the beginning, if prints are included, if you have a certain package, if you're receiving an all-inclusive package where they give you a digital gallery with access to the prints, a print release where you can just go print them on your own. Just know all of that up front, because you may not be paying a lot on the front end, but then when you compare it to like an all-inclusive package, it may be more, it may be comparable. So just know that going in.
Yeah, because but the most important thing is to make sure everything associated with the decision that you're making in this contract, make sure it's transparent.
Yes.
Don't allow yourself to make an emotional decision and to sign something. You have every right, in this world
To ask questions. Amend.
To read it. We've had several brides and grooms in the past to, go to the back and start signing after we've had conversations for about 30 or 40 minutes.
Well, I read the whole thing. Like I go over it with them.
Yeah, but before we would go over it, they would they want to sign it, and it's like no, honey.
We're gonna take some time. We're gonna go through this. We usually spend about an hour.
Yeah.
During our consultation.
Sometimes we've been there for like an hour and a half.
Well,
2 hours
because
we just
sometimes people get off on tangents. I mean, I know nobody would ever believe that of Luke here.
What are you talking
So just it's always great to make sure that you're understanding what you're signing. You can make amendments. You can ask them to include things in the contract.
But understand, when we were talking about the prints, understand how much your prints are going to cost. And if you get a digital gallery, if you get one of those, make sure you have a certain amount of time, or you haven't, like our galleries last forever.
Right. So know that sometimes your galleries can expire. So you want to make sure that you understand how long you have access to your gallery. That kind of leads me to go back. I know we keep getting off topic here. You brought up prints, and
I'm
then
sorry.
it got us.
I had to talk about it.
That's okay.
It's
No, that's fine.
It was
It was gonna come later.
Yeah.
And it's not really a source of contention. It's just educating brides and the relationship with the photographers. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with selling prints, and there's a reason why photographers do that. And it has to do with quality and the work that they do being represented
in the way they want to have it represented.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So please do not. This is not a practice bashing session here at all.
Not at all.
So a couple of the other things that you want to talk about during your consultation is worst case scenarios, how they handle equipment malfunctions, worst case scenarios involving the assigned photographers. Two things that we want to bring up is one, in the event that the photographer cannot be there, what are the options?
What's
what
their
will happen?
contingency plan as far as somebody else to shoot your wedding?
Do they have a backup plan? How do they handle that? Two, you want to talk about equipment malfunction.
It happens.
Yeah. How do they handle if a camera craps out on them? How do they handle faulty? How do they handle faulty SD cards? Things of that nature.
Yeah, prime example, when we were shooting a family, when we were first getting started, we were both at a shoot. This was just a family shoot. And remember that I had a D750, okay, and that's a full frame Nikon, and all of a sudden the shutter locked on it, and I was in the middle of a shoot, family standing there, the kids are in, and the thing locks up, and I'm like, and I'm freaking out. So I look over at Brianne, I said, I don't know what's going on, and I turned it on and off, it would not work. I grabbed your camera, we finished the shoot, everything was great. Listen to me, that happens. And it's happened to me, and it will happen to anybody else. And to be honest, that was a shutter malfunction problem with that camera. We sent it into Nikon. They fixed it, sent it back.
Never had a problem with it since.
Never had a problem with it since. Scary though. Woo!
So yeah, you want to make sure that they have backup equipment.
Yeah. Very important.
And two, that's another thing. Find out if they're shooting by themselves. Do they have a second photographer coming? There's no right or wrong answer to that. Our standard is, we're pretty standard with the two photographers. We just feel like
you're gonna miss so much with one.
Yeah, it's hard to move around a lot.
You can't be everywhere.
And so you want to have like two vantage points. I remember we actually had two photographers at our wedding, because I was just worried that something might get missed, and they were both great.
They're both great. Fantastic. Love them to death.
And then two, you want to find out how they handle your images afterwards. One of the big things that we stress to our brides is that we take extra steps to ensure the safety of their images. I think the thing when talking with the brides is like short of us getting into a car accident and that car going up into flames or us driving off a bridge, heaven forbid. As soon as we get home, those things are uploaded to an external hard drive.
The night of. I mean, I get home, it could be like 1 a.m. I come upstairs, I upload download all these images from all of the cards.
Will you upload?
Upload. I put them on it's late. On all the cards, on all the hard drives, and they're saved. We save them multiple times because it's important.
Yeah. So we want to make sure, and Luke's a very quirky individual. He worries about that stuff constantly. Typically, we leave them on the cards that they're shot on until we've fully finished.
Until it's fully finished, and we keep our raw files on a separate hard drive because you never know.
We don't ever want to lose photos.
We don't want to lose photos. We have like 3 or 4 hard drives from the last 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
that are full, and
Yeah.
we'll just continue to buy them because I can't. Ugh.
The thought.
Ugh. It's like warm bath water. Ugh, it's just nasty thought.
So one of the things that Luke had actually brought up when we were discussing how we were going to handle this session was dual card slots in cameras.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, a lot of camera manufacturers release cameras with dual card slots, and what that means is that you have 2 places in the camera to record your media on. Your photography and also even your videography. Specifically from a photographer's standpoint, you want to hire a photographer who shoots with a camera with 2 card slots. But basically, when you have 2 card slots in your camera, it records simultaneously at the same time to both cards. You know what I'm talking about, Brian? Like how it just... And a nightmare scenario would be bringing a camera to a wedding and shooting that whole wedding and getting down to probably about 3/4 of the end of the day. And then some reason whatsoever, I don't understand, but something happens to that card internally into that camera, and it, it's a word, it becomes corrupted. And it happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cards are like fingernails. They're so little, and they will corrupt. It happens.
People, we've done it before. Those cards get reused.
Yeah, over and over again. And if a card corrupts, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a very likely a scenario that everything recorded on that card is going to go to pot. It's going to be gone. It's going to be crap, and you're going to miss it. Now, if you were recording simultaneously to both cards at the same time in your camera, then you would have that other card to be backed up, and you have all those photos. It's highly important that you get a photographer that shoots with dual card slots because your wedding day truly depends upon it.
Or at least has a second photographer
Yeah,
getting
two
all of those shots.
two is better than one.
2 is always better than
But
1 when it comes to this kind of
You
stuff.
know, it takes me to Brianne. I'll be completely honest with you. This is kind of an emotional thing to say, but it takes me to one of our clients, Chelsea and Rob. And you remember that photo that we took of her and a grandparent or granddad and a grandmother, and we saw that photo unfolding. How emotional moment that was, because it was an emotional moment.
Mm-hmm.
He was very old, feeble. And I mean, I cried talking about myself. It's a rough moment.
Right.
But that moment deserves the utmost care. 2 card slots, 2 photographers getting that shot, and it got done because that's important. That's my 2 cents.
So make sure that they're handling your images appropriately. Know how they're going to be saved, for how long they're going to be saved, know whether or not you're going to have a gallery that expires. We've talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
The worst case scenarios, backup photographers, backup equipment. The albums. Okay, so going into this, when you've selected your photographer, you may be basing it on some of the work that you've seen online, on your social media, Instagram, Facebook, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
It is never a bad idea to ask to see full wedding albums. In fact, if a bride hasn't asked us, we'll volunteer the information. You want to make sure that your photographers can consistently get good images.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to get, a dozen images that just look fantastic, but you want to see what a full day looks like, because that's at the end of the day what you're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
So ask to see full albums. That's never a bad idea. We've talked about pricing. Know what you're getting included with your pricing.
Yeah.
Make sure you know about your retainers. Does your retainer come off the price of your wedding? Refundable, non-refundable, things of that nature. Insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance, business license. Make sure that you're dealing with someone that, is legit.
With insurance, if they
Yeah.
drop one of their cameras into the cake and it ruins it.
And it ruins your images.
What I'm
The
trying to say,
if you destroy the cake.
something, the insurance will pay for it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Typically, it doesn't happen, but it could happen.
It's going to happen to you now that you've spoken into
No,
existence.
it's not. Stop it.
Which brings us to, okay, we've talked about like, different photographers, things of that nature. Let's move on to things that you need to know about the day of
Yes.
with photography, because it's going to be the same across the board.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot stress to you enough talking to your photographer about a shooting schedule. We do not mind assisting you with that, coming up with a good time to get started, to end, things of that nature. Ultimately, that's going to be up to you. But the day of, you have way less time than you anticipate, because it goes by so fast.
Oh, it goes by like a hurricane.
And
Gone.
so just make sure and just know that if you do not start on time, you may not get as many photos as you had anticipated or
At
that
all.
you wanted.
Not in the least.
And we're pretty flexible. We tend to build in an hour of extra time in between, getting ready photos and whatnot. And we typically suggest to our brides not shooting an hour before the ceremony because people start arriving. And we've had some brides kind of run behind schedule. It happens. But that extra hour of time gave us a little bit of a buffer because we were just able to take them to another spot, continue to photograph from where they weren't able to start on time, all without the bride being seen by any of the guests. So just make sure that you're scheduling plenty of time. Again, you can work with your photographer if you're not sure how long it's going to take. They can make some recommendations. Of course, all weddings are different because, with photographers, one of the questions they're going to ask you is, are you doing photos before or are you wanting to do them all after? Are you doing a first look with your bride and groom, or is it going to be, the traditional down the aisle? For us, it's usually about 50-50. I will say there's pros and cons to both. The first look, if you're a highly emotional person, kind of gives you an opportunity to kind of shake off some of that.
Yes, I always call it diffusing the moment.
Yeah. Shake off some of that. Gives you extra time with one another. You can get more photos. You won't feel rushed. You're not missing your reception. The traditional has its charm, gives you an opportunity to really just live in that moment, gives you, an opportunity to let your guests see you two seeing each other for the first time. So really, there's no right or wrong answer to that. We've had a lot of brides ask us, what does everybody do? And our honest answer is it's 50-50, and it's just whatever you guys want.
Yeah, we really don't have a preference either way.
We don't push you for either one. The only thing I will say is if you are hoping to get to your reception, quickly,
An adequate amount
you
of time.
are sacrificing, your image time. And some people will do a cocktail hour to make sure that you have plenty of time. So just know all of these things going into it, figure out what you want, and go from there. I cannot stress to you the importance of coming up with a shot list. What I tell all of my brides and grooms, you do not have to make us a shot list of every single moment of the day. We're going to get the pretty standard stuff, We're going to get shots of the getting ready. We're going to get shots of the dress, shots of the shoes, shots of the flowers. We'll get the first kiss, the reciting the vows, the exchanging of rings, the unity candle, the unity cross, whatever it is that you guys decide to go with.
It's not necessarily a shot list brand, though. It's in actuality, it's the order of services.
Right.
We need to know when things are happening.
But that's part of the schedule.
Well, yeah. But shots that mean something to you, we need to make sure we get.
And that's what I'm getting at. Maybe the groomsmen are hiding some super cool T-shirts underneath their shirts. Maybe they're wearing some exciting, socks, something fun. Maybe all of the bridesmaids are hiding some, Chuck Taylors underneath those pretty bridesmaids' dresses. Things that we might not know about. Maybe there is a special friend or an aunt or an uncle that meant something to you that you want to make sure that you get pictures with them. Maybe you guys have a family tradition at weddings that you want documented. These are the things that you need to let your photographer know. You need to let them know what's going on. And when you mentioned the schedule, the order of services, that brings me to another thing. Make sure that your photographer is aware of any surprises that may be happening. Luke may or may not have sprung a special song on me at our wedding.
Yeah, I remember that. It was funny.
That I was completely unaware of.
was funny
I'm not
because-
sure our photographer knew about it either.
It's funny
He
because
caught
you're
it,
well. It's
but
funny because you're a planner, and it threw you off subject, and that's
I didn't
funny.
know what to do with my hands.
That's funny to me.
while he
And like
was
your
doing
boss
that.
was like, she said like you wasn't ready for that, were you?
I said, she's like, I wouldn't know what to do with my hands, and I'm like, exactly. But I had to have that
She's a sweetheart.
sweetheart. That special look on my face, like, oh, this is so sweet. In the meantime, I'm like, you
Yeah.
sorry.
When we got home,
You sorry
you hit
sucker.
me with an axe in the back of the
I
head.
did
That's not a place. It stinks.
So he deviated from my schedule.
Whatever. Get over it. We're still married. We have a kid.
So just know that those are important things to let your photographer know. Wake up.
Sorry.
This is your deal.
I-
You got to
no,
talk to
no.
him.
I'm just a little tired. I'm a little tired. It's okay.
You're the one that wanted to do this.
In the words of Captain America, it's been a long day.
You should also know that the time of day will impact your images. Lucas.
The time of day will impact your images, and this is very important because I'm not going to harp on negative comments associated with certain types of photographers, but there's natural light photographers, and there's people who use flash. A lot of people use flash photography in the bright daylight. Some people use flash photography, like during the reception hour. Some photographers say, you know what, forget flash. I hate flash. It doesn't feel right. It feels unnatural. It's artificial, and I'm going to wing it, shooting complete natural light everywhere I go. And that includes going into a reception hall and shooting wide open, and some people do good and they edit very well, and that's fine. But some people don't, and that's just one of those things associated with the budget and stuff like that, blah, 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 whatever. But the light outside completely will dictate the shots you get. For instance, you're getting married at 1 or 2 o'clock.
Well,
and
depending
you're-
on the time of year, too.
Well, the time of year,
Yeah.
but typically 1 or 2 o'clock, the sun's pretty high up there, and hear me out.
And we speak from experience
Yeah.
because we did get married at 2 o'clock. And
Yeah.
I didn't think about that when I
Yeah,
was.
And-
I
but it
didn't
was
know
a
this stuff.
it was a shaded location more so than anything, and that was helpful.
Yeah.
But like
And
if
he
it had
came
been
prepared,
if
too.
it had been in the middle of a field, like your face would have huge black like dark circles underneath because the sun's straight up in the sky, coming straight down. It's it's just not a good thing, And if you want to get married at that time, and you're going to get married in the middle of a field, I'm not going to say don't do it. What I'm going to say is that unless your photographer is using flash fill photography and is shooting high speed sync, which that's some terms that we use in photography, but like, I don't know how to say this, but like he needs to be able to shoot in a way that fills in those dark
Or she.
Oh wow, that's sexist. Sorry about that. He or she needs to be shooting in a way that fills up those dark circles. It's possible, yes it is, but it's a little bit of a struggle, but it can be done. But just understand if they're a complete natural light photographer and they're not using flash and you're getting married at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, you're gonna have dark circles. It's gonna be
Right.
harsh lighting, extremely harsh. And there's nothing anybody can do about it unless they're using fill flash. In my opinion, shooting high speed sync. That's my take on it. Now, as it gets into the reception, if they're not using any types of flash and it's very dark, there's going to be a struggle there. And those cameras that are not, I'm not going to say they're not professional or whatever, but like, for instance, they're shooting with an aperture, which is the front of the lens, the opening, that isn't a very big aperture. Not a lot of light's going to come through that lens. And your images are going to be dark, and they're not going to pop. And bottom line is this: for your reception, I highly recommend personally that you pick a photographer that shoots with flash photography. They
And
do.
that can be a hot shoe flash that's
Yeah.
just on top of the camera.
Yeah,
It can be
camera.
off camera flash. It's
It's important. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
If you do what you will, that's your business. I'm not going to say don't do it,
if
but
you're doing an all outside event,
it should be fine.
natural light
Should be fine.
If it's getting into the dark and stuff like that, it's just something to consider.
Yeah.
Again, this is not bashing people that
Not at all.
that don't use flash, but it is something to be aware of.
Absolutely.
Because it does affect your images.
Yeah.
And I think more so where I was getting at that is you've got to determine what kind of images you want. We released a gallery not too long ago, or some sneak peeks that talked about golden hour.
We had brides asking,
And
what's golden hour?
We had brides asking us when golden hour would be on their
Well.
day. And what that is golden hour provides like those warm, yellowy gold kind of tones, and it's about an hour before sundown. Is that right?
So when the sun is its weakest, like in the morning when the sun's rising, when the sun's setting, nice, warm, nice light.
Yeah. So you just need to determine what kind of light you want in your images if you're doing outdoor shots.
And it's real simple.
If it's all indoor, there's no reason to.
Well, what's really
it.
simple when you talk to your photographer about what your expectations are, which you very well should, get examples and print them out. Show them this is the kind of photos that I want. This can you do this? Can you make this happen? Don't say yes and then not do it. Like. You can? Okay, cool. Well, then show me examples where you've done this kind of photography because it's your wedding day.
But please be aware, do be aware that your photographer cannot control what it looks like that day.
You can't control the weather at all.
You can't control the weather. You cannot control the lighting.
We shot in the rain.
We have, yeah.
And Ashley McAnally, Pearson, great photos.
They did. It was kind of fun photos too.
And the rain stuck because the high shutter speed. It looked great. I mean, I remember her laugh. I remember her face. She was like looking at him. They postponed the wedding for 30 minutes.
They had postponed the wedding and then a shower hit them anyway.
Waterproof cameras too are important. It's another gear thing. We had those. Not waterproof, but weatherproof or whatever. Yeah.
We'll shoot in the rain. No big deal.
I don't care.
No big deal. It's just rain. No big deal. One last thing that I will bring up, and we usually talk about this during our our letter of agreement type things, but it's something for you guys to think about as well.
Absolutely. Going
in. Addressing cell phones and other photography during your ceremony. For us, it's a little frustrating.
A little?
But for brides, it's something to be aware of because you may not be thinking about that. But we've had some weddings where the bride's like, I don't care who's taking pictures during the wedding. But we've had some really nice shots that have gotten kind of.
We've had relatives, friends bring their iPad, their 10-inch iPad, and hold it up as the bride comes down the aisle, okay, and right up in my shot. And I've had to drop kick Murphy, kick him in the back of the head, knock him down. That's keeping it real. That I wanted to do that. I won't do it because that's wrong. That I might get arrested for that. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to. No, those things will ruin your photograph of you walking down the aisle, or if you walking back down the aisle. And we highly recommend before the wedding, honest to God, truthfully speaking, a sign is not enough. Like the preacher beforehand, it's not wrong with it. Keep your cell phones in your pockets. We have people here that we're paying for this, and I've seen it over and over and over again, and it's good because people respect that.
And let me
it's important.
Let me put this out here. We are not addressing those situations where they're live streaming the wedding for someone that cannot be there.
That's something different.
We're not stressing that. And we understand that people want to hashtag their wedding, which is great.
Yeah.
We actually have a lot of people that encourage them to do so at the reception. The ceremony is an intimate time.
Extremely intimate.
And it's a more difficult time for us to move around and get around these people. During a ceremony where everybody's loud and stuff like that, it's no problem for us to say, hey, excuse me, let me get through here.
Yeah.
During a ceremony, we're trying to be quiet, respectful of what's going on. We're moving around a lot. We're trying to
stay out of the way.
We're trying to capture moments. We're trying to stay out of the way. And, sometimes we can work around this, but there's a lot of times we're in tight, confined spaces that we can't get around those cell phones that are like up in there.
They'll ruin your shot.
And they're in your shots. They're
I'm not going to sit here and say that either way. It's not funny. I don't like it. It's not something that we can say, and stuff. It is so distracting as a photographer when you've got somebody there, and I've had this happen before. People that are at weddings who are photographers, You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to get shots during the wedding with their DSLR cameras. Have you seen that? Do you remember the one wedding that we shot? I'm not gonna say where, but like the guy was shooting like click, click, click. Like, do you remember that? He had like a 70 to 200 lens, and he was like, he held it, and he was just firing away, and I'm just like it was so loud, and it was very intimate. I think it was like it was like in a church, but you could hear it would echo. You know, just like, wow.
But getting
Soapbox.
to that point, you know, we just want to encourage you to address that, whether it be through a sign, whether it be through an announcement, something of that nature.
Just
be aware of it.
No.
There's nothing wrong with you asking people to keep their cameras and their cell phones put them away during the ceremony.
Put a box
and then
out front.
Bring them
put
back
them
out for the party.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am. I'm sure we've left stuff out. Like I said, this was just supposed to be kind of a short little thing.
It's like only 40 minutes, and you know, and we're gonna try our best to get these podcasts on Google Play and also Apple iTunes and stuff. As they keep going, I'm not sure when I'm going to have those uploaded where you can just listen to them in the car. We understand that right now this is a video,
Right,
and also we know this is all podcast gear, and we're talking and stuff, and it's fun. But we do understand that podcasting, one of the luxuries of it is being able to just tap on your phone, listen to straight through, and we're going to get that going soon.
So in the following weeks, we'll have other people here, people about venues, what to know about booking a venue,
what to know about
catering, the good stuff,
the good food. Everybody wants to eat, and also the DJs.
DJs.
I wonder if I can get DJ Jam and Jeff up in here.
Maybe.
I love that guy. He's fun. He's got like a cool mustache and goatee, or he has a mustache.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love mustache. I would grow a mustache, but Brand will not let me. She's like, you're ugly.
So stay tuned. And hey, guys, if there's something you guys want to know about, if you want us to have a special guest on, let us know.
Yeah,
we'll do our best to accommodate.
And remember, we had one more thing to talk about before it was over, and that was the one right here, this box.
You did touch base with that.
I just want to reiterate it real quick.
Okay.
Emotional. You are getting married, and it's a very important day, and do not let the emotions of the excitement, associated with getting married, blindside you or blind you into making some decisions that you might regret. That goes for the photographer, the venue, your DJ, your food. A lot of these things, all these things are exciting. They're beautiful. But I always want to end these podcasts on expectation versus reality. I mean, it's the truth. Yeah. Like, your expectation is so different from the outcome. This is what you're shooting for. This is what you want. Please communicate that with us and whoever else. But it never goes the way exactly that you wanted. It just doesn't. Mm-hmm. Because everybody's humans. Everybody's human beings. And just have grace in knowing that everybody that you hire is trying their best, because this process is not to be taken lightly by anybody. Anybody that does take it lightly, you should probably go somewhere else. That's just the thing, because this is serious. This is your wedding day, and we're here for you. I know that Brienne is. So I think that's it.
So far.
So
tune in next week.
Yeah, join us next Monday. We're either going to be talking about the venue, and when we do the venue podcast, we want to do it from the venue. We're going to take our set there. It's going to be fun. Or we're going to talk to possibly a DJ or
it's a surprise
caterer or whatever. But it's going to be a surprise. We have a special guest. We're working on that. I got a halo above my head. See that light? Is that here?
I can't see that at all.
Okay. So yeah, that's the podcast, everybody.
Enjoy.
This was episode 2. Have a great day. Bye-bye.